From MTN, the Montana Television Network, this is Face the State.
Thanks for joining us on Face the State. This week we're in Bozeman, Montana at Museum of the Rockies. It's a staple for visitors, tourists, and of course history buffs. The Museum of the Rockies offers a lot of activities throughout the summer. Today we're going to interview and talk to the people that make Museum of the Rockies happen. We're also going to take a preview of some of the events going on this summer. And we're also going to at least talk about the future of the Museum of the Rockies in the coming years. This is probably my favorite part of the Museum of the Rockies. The Tinsley House has significance for Southwest Montana and Gallatin Valley. And Linda Newblom is here, and she's one of the lead interpreters for the Tinsley House. Can you talk to us a little bit about the significance this place has?
Well, it's really significant in that the house was actually built about 40 miles from here in Willow Creek, Montana, and we moved it here specifically to do living history. The house was built in 1889, which is significant simply because that was when Montana became a state as well. So the house is run as it would have been between 1889 and 1920. The things you see in the house are not Tinsley items, but they are items that they may have had between 1889 and 1900 or so.
Probably my favorite part of this is, unlike a lot of museums where it's you look and you don't touch, that's not necessarily the case
No,
here.
this is truly hands-on, with the exception of the loom upstairs and the sewing machines, which have sharp items on them, so we don't like you messing with those. But basically, yeah, you can sit on the furniture, you can play with the toys, which is a big hit with the kids. We actually have costumes upstairs that the children can put on and go out and feed the chickens in and so on.
Often this can be overlooked by a visitor. The bottom line is, don't overlook this.
Right. We are out the back door, basically. And there's very little signage that actually sends you this direction. But if you just go up the front steps and turn left, you will find us. We try to stay here all in one place.
Awesome. Linda, thank you so much for your time. And again, if you do visit the Museum of the Rockies, don't skip the Tinsley House. Also part of the Tinsley House, growing crops has been a big part of this. Dave Kinsey, part of the Museum of the Rockies program. Talk to us a little bit about what's going on behind us.
Sure. This year we decided to try a project that highlighted the 125th anniversary of MSU. And so what we're doing here for this little plot of grains is working with Jim Berg up on campus, who's part of the research program for historic grains. We put in old grains, probably from going back 1890, 1900, and all the way up to the new grains that were grown in Montana, planted side by side, so you can get an idea what was planted 100 years ago and then what was planted and developed here at MSU over the course of many years, and they're all a lot different as time goes on. So it's kind of a demonstration of what was grown in this valley and researched here at MSU over the years.
Now, have you done this project before?
We have, but not to this extent. So this is a little more, this has more varieties of wheat and barleys that were developed here. So
again, while the Tinsley House is a little off the beaten path and one that's overlooked, this may be a real glimpse into how we progressed.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the whole idea of the place here, is to look at agriculture from a historical perspective and see what people were doing back then and compare it to what we're doing now, and a kind of a hands-on approach for that.
Oh, fantastic. Dave, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Another significant part of the Museum of the Rockies, I'm joined by Michael Fox talking about the History Hall and some of the significance it's had on Southwest Montana, MSU in particular.
Yes, the PA History Hall, this is pretty much one of the first halls that was built at this new facility here at Museum of the Rockies back in the 70s. And we interpret history of the Northern Rocky Mountain region here. And of course, a big part of that is Montana State University. And this year, the university is celebrating its 125th anniversary. It's founded back in 1893, really as an agricultural and mechanical school. And back in those days, that meant basically getting academic scholars of things like agriculture and engineering out into the public. We were a very big outreach school, still are a big outreach school. It's definitely part of the land-grant university kind of creed that we follow here. And we've got 2 cases here that are part of the celebration of the 125th anniversary. And we've just pulled some basically some written and printed items, as well as a lot of good costume things that we have related to the history of Montana State University. So things that date from the teens, the 20s, all the way up to the 60s and 70s.
And throughout the summer, people will have the opportunity to actually have a guided tour, right?
Absolutely. I'll be up here in the gallery pretty much once a week talking about the significance of MSU and the 125th anniversary, and people are certainly welcome to join us for that.
Another thing of significance, or has been very popular, hops in history. This has been insanely popular, at least around the region. Can you talk a little bit to us about how hops in history came about and what it is?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we're entering into our 5th year of doing hops in history. We routinely sell this program out at about 250 to 300 people, and it's basically a get-together of people who are interested in beer and brewing history. I get up there and talk for a little bit about Montana brewing or international brewing styles. We've got 2 more sessions of hops in history before our big kind of blowout end of the year party that we have, and we'll be talking about the brewing history of the Rocky Mountain region from Mexico all the way up to Alberta, and the following month we'll be doing a little program on the current craft beer revolution that just started in the 1970s. This is like the last Tuesday of each month, and we certainly invite people to come on down. Idea came about really because of the craft beer revolution here in Bozeman. We're like closing in on 15, 20 breweries just here in Bozeman right now, and it happened so quickly that it kind of inspired me to go back and look at some of Montana's early brewing history. So that's what I'm presenting here.
I think this is a really cool program because it is part of the history of this part of Montana and, of course, MSU. So, again, you'll be able to get online, take a look, and be able to find out more information on these programs, right?
Absolutely. And, yeah, we'll be talking here about the 125th anniversary and, of course, Hops in History, which also is sponsored by a different local brewery every month. So you'll be here, you can sample the beer, listen to a little history, and jump right in. It's going to be a busy summer up here, and we certainly encourage people to come up here and check us out.
Okay, so this is a part of the museum, the Planetarium. I'm hesitant to call it a new edition, but it is still very new and fresh. Eric Loberg here with us. Talk to us a little bit about the Planetarium.
Yeah, we put the Planetarium in here originally in 1988 when we built this new section of the building, but we renovated it about 5 years ago. We used to have old slide projectors and all sorts of old equipment in there, and it was getting pretty dated and tough to update anymore. And so about 5 years ago now, we went to these nice digital projectors, so we shoot 4K resolution all the way across the dome. We have this beautiful digital scenes all the way around us. It's still this nice sky simulator, and that's what a lot of times what you do with planetariums. You have the night sky, or you have the daytime sky, but we can do a lot more with it now too. So we can put you in a kind of an ocean simulation and put you underwater, or we can show the farmhouse outside when it's closed in the winter, and we can kind of take virtual tours inside the planetarium. There's a lot more opportunities to do different things in their architecture. We've gone in here with classes to do architecture and philosophy and even chemistry, all sorts of fun things in here.
That's really cool, and the way that you guys at the museum have been able to integrate education into the planetarium is phenomenal, and also incorporate some local stuff. What's going on this summer here at the planetarium?
This summer, we have updated our new Live Night Sky show, so we're talking all about the planets that are out there this summer. So the one you're seeing early in the morning right now is Venus, but the one you're seeing later at night that's super bright is Jupiter. Mars is going to get about 3 times brighter than it is tonight. over the next couple months. So you'll be able to see Jupiter, then Saturn, then Mars up in the evening sky. So that'll be a lot of what we're focusing on is the planets. And then we can bring in some of those missions out there as well and talk about the newest pictures that are coming back from Juno, the mission around Jupiter, or from the Mars rover. Curiosity is out there drilling again. And so we're getting new pictures back from Mars and Jupiter all the time that we can add into the planetarium.
And so anybody who comes into the Museum of the Rockies has the opportunity to come into the planetarium in general. What kind of shows are going on?
Well, right now for shows we're running Faster Than Light, which is talking all about missions that could in the future perhaps go up to almost light speed, hopefully. Kind of on the drawing board right now, but not actual missions yet. We're doing Violent Universe, all about big explosions in space, what could be dangerous out there in space. So that's kind of a fun one. We have a new kids show called The Secret of the Cardboard Rocket. So you get to imagine yourself in a cardboard rocket and fly around there. And then our Live Night Sky show, and we're also running Seeing again, which is all about how light gets into our eyes. So lots of different opportunities and shows here in the planetarium.
Now, the shows, once you get into the museum, the shows, this is the best part. There you are.
They are free, yeah. We're included with the admission of the museum. Years ago, we used to have a separate charge, and one of the things I've wanted to do is use the planetarium as just another exhibit. I know not everybody loves space, not everybody loves dinosaurs. I know it's hard to imagine, but it happens. And so if you like history or you like space, you like dinosaurs, it's kind of just another one of those exhibits, and you get a chance, come on in and see all the planetarium shows that you want to as well.
Eric, your favorite part about the planetarium?
Oh, there's you stumped.
Not just one, right?
You stumped me. Yeah, there's a lot of fun things in the planetarium. I love the kind of the new science. There's always new things I'm learning in there. So when I started, what a planet was has kind of changed. What else we've discovered out there has changed. All these exoplanets. I remember we just barely saw the first couple when I started here. Now there's hundreds of thousands of exoplanets out there at this point. What's a quasar? All these kind of definitions and what we see out there. We're seeing deeper and deeper all the time, and we have these new telescopes on the drawing board, so we'll see deeper still, and every time it happens, we'll try to get it in here. All
right, thank you very much, Eric. Again, if you come in here, come to the Taylor Planetarium, fantastic chance to get in and see things up close and personal. Going on this summer, guitars, the instrument that rocked the world. I'm joined by Alicia Thompson, the marketing director here at the Museum of the Rockies. You know, you have exhibits that come and go periodically through the year. This one is a really fun exhibit. Tell me about guitars.
It is super fun and interactive. We have guitar, the instrument that rocked the world. Over 100 instruments and artifacts you can see. The history of the guitar, how to engage with the strings and the electromagnets that make it all work, from guitars dating hundreds of years old, the history up until the modern era of today.
You're exactly right, and we look at including a display of the first electric guitar, the frying pan, right? Yeah. This is a really cool exhibit, and it really, at least for Southwest Montana and Bozeman in general, is really cool because, you know, we have a local connection with Gibson.
We do, and we're thrilled to have them participating in this as well as our other sponsors. You know, the exciting thing about Museum of the Rockies is our mission is we share Montana with the world, and we bring the world to Montana. So these changing exhibitions are really key point of our mission, and we're happy to have all the people from Montana come in and experience culture and history and science.
Okay, so this exhibit is currently open. It runs through September 9th. September 9th, okay. Mm-hmm. And so people can come in, check this out. You guys also have some other programs going on with Museum of the Rockies and guitars. And guitars.
Exciting programming this summer. We have Guitar Music Mondays. So starting June 9th, every Monday out on here at the museum and included with admission, you can build your own guitar. And we have a docent-led tour of this exhibit if you can't get enough. And then we have a hands-on segment with Gibson guitar coming on Mondays as well. And then the coolest thing is every Monday at noon we have free music on the plaza. We'll have a local artist in, and you can come and listen to the sounds and watch it being played right there on our plaza.
And I think this is cool. I think a lot of people, if you're interested in music at all, obviously a guitar is a big part of that. And certainly as people are coming through and seeing all these different species, what catches your eye when you walk through this?
Oh my gosh, what catches my eye are obviously being able to play the world's largest guitar, a 43.5-foot long guitar. It's a Guinness World Record holding long guitar. So that catches my eye immediately, as well as the the interactives that you can hear the sights and the sounds of. You don't have to know much about guitars, but everybody kind of knows a little bit about guitars, but you can come here and really get your hands on the sights and sounds and science of guitars from old to new.
You know, Alicia, also, you know, you've got a lot of change coming to the Museum of the Rockies. You've got a new building that's built right out back.
Right, the Curatorial Center for the Humanities was just finished this year, and it moved all of our art and history collections, so then we can expand our paleo collections and kind of start doing some new things in the paleontology area that we've been putting on hold for years because we've run out of space.
Right, and this also, I mean, you go through the history hall. Yes, it's about history, but you don't want to see the same history every time.
Correct. We've not had any space to move out the old vehicles and the planes, and so now that we have the Curatorial Center for the Humanities, thanks to many generous donors and patrons, we can now start a plan to curate a new history hall that will come online in the next couple of years.
That's going to be fantastic. And also, other things changing. We're going to have a little changing of the guard in a way.
We are. You know, we've been very blessed for many, many years to have Sheldon McCamey, also known as Shelley, be the executive director at Museum of the Rockies. And earlier this year, she announced her retirement. And we're all so blessed to have worked for her. She's done so much for the museum. But we'll be having a new executive director come on in the next few months. And for those who are interested, they can come and meet the final candidates here at Public Forums this June 4th through 8th. And then again on Monday, June 11th at 5:30 p.m. There'll be public presentations to kind of help us interview for our new executive director.
And that's really cool because you'll actually be able to see and hear these people. And this is really a big part of Southwest Montana, the Museum of the Rockies in general.
Yes, and we just love to have everyone from Montana come and visit. Our rates are very affordable at $14.50 a person and $9.50 for children. And that's to get you a 2-day pass. So you don't have to cram everything in one day. But also, you know, our family memberships are very affordable. If you come back many times, you know, for what you would take a family of 4 to a movie once, you can come back to Museum of the Rockies unlimited time for a whole year.
All right, and yes, part of the Museum of the Rockies does include fundraising, but you guys make it fun. Talk about, you know, throughout the year, the different things going on.
Absolutely, we have a lot of engagement with the community. We're involved in parades and farmers markets out in the community. We're involved in Raptor Fests, and I mean, we just enjoy doing so much. We also have our Sensational Babies and Tours for Tots programs that are really fun for educational, for young children to come in and make learning fun and get them caught at a young age. Let's see, we do things with MSU, like we're part of Catapalooza, and More After Dark, where we host an after-hours Halloween party, an alcohol-free Halloween party for MSU students to come here and be here like a, you know, the night at the museum type of fun thing.
And that's really cool. I think overall, just looking at this, Alicia, one of the big things is the outreach to the kids. You were talking about Tours for Tots and the different programs going on. How did that really come about? I mean, that's really a cool organic way to get kids involved in history.
Absolutely, lifelong learning is part of our mission. So we start them young and get them through any age in life. But one of our huge outreaches that we don't, it's not part of my marketing plan, it's not part of the our talking points, is our Opening Doors for Montana School Children Fund, where we bring school children in free of charge and help pay for part of their bus fare from all over the state. And just this last year, we hosted over 17,000 Montana school children from 49 of the 51 counties. So, and we're looking to grow that every year. We welcome any school district to contact us. We'd love to host you for a field trip where we'll have tours, if you want a tour, by our docents, planetarium visits, and with special programming that will cater to your curriculum.
I think that's really cool because if you have a kid or you have a niece or nephew or a grandkid, chances are they've come through.
Absolutely, and we also welcome private and homeschoolers as well. They are part of the program. And thank you to our donors and sponsors. Their visit here at the museum is free.
Oh, that's so fantastic. So again, the Museum of the Rockies, tell us about the summer hours.
Absolutely, we're open now through Labor Day weekend from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Living History Farm is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we have a robust calendar of events going on almost every every day, and you can find that at museumoftherockies.org.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Alicia. And of course, get a chance, come down, check out the guitars exhibit. It is truly music to my ears. Absolutely. And a lot of fun.
Welcome. We welcome all this summer.
Okay, so food is goes straight to the heart of a lot of people, and a new fixture here at Museum of the Rockies, at least for the summer month, is the Fork in the Road food truck. Kay-Ann Miller is joining us. Tell me about how this all came about.
Well, the customers have been requesting this for a long time. The Fork in the Road is a fixture on the MSU University campus, and as a part of the campus, the Museum of the Rockies asked if we could come and help address those requests for really awesome, unique, interesting food in the summer months.
All right, so we've got a full kitchen in here. This is really cool, and this is going to be here through the summer for people to enjoy. A full kitchen, what can people expect to be able to get?
We, given the nature of what's going on here at the museum, we are featuring several unique foods. First of all, we will have a kids menu, and of course you can expect to have the dinosaur chicken bites with that. And then we have over the past semester, spent a lot of time working with Native communities represented here on campus, and been doing indigenous food from the area. So you can expect elk and venison and bison for adult meals. And we also have done a lot of research, including what's in the Tinsley House cookbook here. And we will be featuring a lot of meals that are period specific to the time that the Tinsley House would have been a working farm. So there'll be lots of fresh local lettuces, there'll be a lot of fresh herbs, there'll be a lot of local ham and bacon and kombucha and all kinds of food.
What's really cool, Kay-Ann, is the fact that this is available to people. You're getting time-specific stuff. You've got the food truck. That's all the rage. How exciting is it for you to be able to do this?
This is probably, aside from the sous chef visiting us, one of the most exciting events of the year for me. I am really proud of what we've been doing on the food truck and the food that we serve. I love the new wrap with the period map on it, the period-specific tourist map, and we love doing this food, and I know everyone who works on the truck is excited about it.
All right, so Kay-Ann, when will this be available?
We're opening June 1st, and the hours on the truck will be 11 to 2:30, 7 days a week.
Oh, fantastic. Kay-Ann, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. One of the most fun fundraisers I've ever been to is the Wine and Culinary Classic. And Leslie, can you talk to us a little bit about the Wine and Culinary Classic?
Well, the Wine and Culinary Classic is our biggest fundraiser for the museum. It's on July 14th. It's a big, huge tent that's in the parking lot of the museum. And we have 100 wines to sample. We have 20 local caterers and restaurants in town that have food to try. And we have silent auction, live auction, and as you know, we have a Picasso etching to sell this year. And again, we just raise 420 guests come and we raise money for the museum.
All right, and we're going to talk about the etching. Catherine, can you talk to us a little bit about the Wine and Culinary Classic and the significance it has and what it means and when it is?
It's July 14, and what it means is gathering together as a community to raise money to support the Museum of the Rockies. Our changing exhibits, our many programs really depend on the money that we raise in this single evening, so we're very excited about it.
So we just talked a little bit about Picasso. This is not a name that you normally hear in your house, but this could end up in your home.
Yes, actually one of the auction items, a rare opportunity for the Museum of the Rockies this year, is an original Picasso print that's been donated by Gallery Michael out of California. The entire proceeds from the sale of this print will go to support the museum's programming as part of the Wine and Culinary Classic this summer. This is a limited edition print. It's number 380. It was done by Picasso in 1934. It was an important time in Picasso's life because he's still living in Spain at this point, and the Spain is on the verge of civil war. And so this print actually is significant. It was part of a suite called the Villard Suite. That's the last print that was pulled from the plate. And so the plate was actually canceled and retired to a museum collection after this print was done. So again, this is a significant piece. It features the Minotaur, which is a kind of an alter ego image for Pablo Picasso. It's the blind Minotaur being led by the girl with flowers. And it's a significant piece because, again, his role in the arts, of course, is well recognized, but Picasso at this time in his life is actually becoming more activist in terms of the political issues that are going on around him in the world. So it's a very important piece in terms of history. It's rare. There is a copy of this print at MoMA in New York, but again, this is a print that is important to his life and history.
I think it's really cool that the Museum of the Rockies has the opportunity to not only to sell this print for the proceeds, but I mean, you're able to see this and really have a up close and personal look at Picasso in a really tumultuous time.
Yes, yeah, and again, you know, one of the things the Museum of the Rockies I think does well is that it provides opportunities to a broader view of the world, and this is a rare opportunity to see something by a recognized modern master that you'd have to go to a large metropolitan area and larger museums oftentimes to see. So this is something that I think is quite unique. It's part of our museum mission that we bring in important images and exhibitions for a broader world outside of Montana as well as Montana history. So.
All right, and people will be able to bid on this at the Wine and Culinary Classic. They'll have a live and silent auction there, and this is one of the pieces.
Right, and people will also have the opportunity to bid on this remotely as well, and so there is information on that actually on the museum's website.
So Stephen, can people, if they want to view this, will they be able to do that?
Yes, the print will be on display here at the museum from the 1st through the 7th of June, and then downtown on the Art Walk on June 8th at CTA Architects, and then back here at the museum the 9th and 10th. And so we invite people to come in to view the Picasso print here in the lobby. It'll be on view in the museum lobby during those times, and then again downtown during the Art Walk.
All right, Stephen Jackson, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, one of the most prominent parts of Museum of the Rockies, and perhaps what really put Museum of the Rockies on the map, dinosaurs. There's tons of them here at the Seibel Dinosaur Complex, and you can see anything, including the Triceratops, which was a lot of these specimens found in the Hell Creek Formation in parts of eastern Montana. You can see lots of specimens going all the way through juvenile back to adult Triceratops. And again, a lot of this found right here in Montana. A lot of the specimens are still being researched there, and of course right here. Paleontology as a rule has been a very big part of the Museum of the Rockies and Montana State University. A lot of this also put on the map with films of Jurassic Park, and of course the Tyrant King, a fairly new exhibit that came online just a few years ago. Also one of the big attractions. When you walk into the complex, this is the first thing that you see. A really cool part of this, a lot of these specimens found right here in Montana. This, of course, Tyrannosaurus rex heads, you can see a lot of the research coming in came right here from the Museum of the Rockies, something that is included with your price of admission at the Museum of the Rockies. That's a wrap on this edition of Face the State. Again, we're at the Museum of the Rockies in Bozeman. If you ever get an opportunity, stop in, visit the Museum of the Rockies, and discover everything that the museum has to offer.
You've been watching Face the State, a presentation of MTN, the Montana Television Network.